This is going to be a tutorial for the follow the path assignment, where we're going to make an animation that looks kind of like this, where there's going to be a track and then a ball, and the ball's going to kind of follow along the path along with the camera. The camera's also going to follow along the path. Okay, I'm going to open up a new document, so Control N, and I'm going to move through this fairly quickly because we've done the basics plenty of times. So I'm going to start off by saving this one as follow the path tutorial, and I'm making sure it's in my right file. I'm going to delete the cube, and then I'm going to get into top view, so I hit number 7. I'm going to turn on my keys. Okay, so again, top view, number pad 7. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to add, so Shift and A, I'm going to add a curve, and I'm going to add a path. So curves, path. And then right away, I'm just going to move this up because I like to kind of have things centered around the origin. So I'm just going to move it up, and then I'm going to end up making my path kind of around like this. So I'm going to switch now into edit mode by hitting tab. And then what I can do is I can take any of these, the ends of this is going to be our path, and I can hit E to extrude it, and I can start going around. I'm basically just going to keep hitting E, keep extruding, and end up making a path kind of going in a circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just something like this. Okay, when I get to near the end, I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to select both of the endpoints. And to fill this space, so to close that, the shortcut is just to hit F, and see how it filled in the space there. It's kind of like when we fill in a face. Yeah, I'm going to save. So I'm going to go into side view, front view, sorry. And I'm going to start kind of moving my path around because I want it to be not just flat. I'm going to make it have some kind of rolling movement. So I'm going to move that up. Just grab different ones and kind of play around. So you're kind of making a different shaped track. There we go. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect or exciting, but there we go. We've got a little path. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to make this into kind of a double layered path. So there's kind of like 2 circles that are almost like rails that the ball can then roll around on. So to do this, what the easiest way to do this is to add an object that's a circle, and then we're going to use that as kind of a template to make the 2 paths, which you'll see in a second. I'm going to just add a new layer. So this is something a little new. We can go up to the top here where it says view layer in the top right corner. And if we click this button, it says add view layer. So we can add a new layer. If I uncheck this collection, then it's not gone from this file. We just can't see it in this layer. So it makes it a little easier for when we want to add something that we don't want to see in our final product. So I'm going to go into top view, number pad 7, and now I'm going to add a curve but a circle. And then I'm going to make this smaller, size down. And then I'm going to go into edit mode because I actually want this to be, I want to make another circle, but I want it to be linked to this one. Okay, so I'm in edit mode. I'm going to duplicate this circle, so Shift D is the shortcut. And then I'm just going to move it, so I hit G and X, and I'm just going to move it along the X-axis a little bit, so it's right here. Now these are going to be the template for my track. So you want them to be like the width that you want it to be for your track, or how far apart you want them to be for your track. That looks good to me though. So remember, you have to be in edit mode so that they stay linked together. So notice it's just one Bezier circle. And I'm going to go back into my other view layer. So I'm going to open up the other view layer. And I'm going to click on my path right here. Before I start, before I make this, we call it beveled, or make it like the double track, I'm going to duplicate it. and just move it over slightly. And we're gonna use this one for the camera. I'm just gonna hide it right now. We'll get to that later. So just basically make a duplicate, but then we can hide it by clicking this little eye here. Now it's easier. We don't have to worry about clicking on it or anything. But I'm gonna select my original path, and then I'm gonna go down to this little tab right here. It's the object data properties for this path. And then when you scroll down to geometry, open that up. And there's an option called bevel, and open that up as well. And then so what we can do here is choose our object to make the bevel. So if I click in here, it gives me the options for my other two objects that are in this file. If I click Bezier circle, it automatically uses the circles to bevel this, to make this the path. Now, I don't really like right now how wide those are, but if you notice, if I click on my Bezier circle, if I size them, I'm just gonna hit S, and my path changes along with it. So it's just basically gonna use whatever you have for that circle, for that object, it's gonna use that to bevel. So you can change it, make adjustments to the circles, and that'll make adjustments to your path. And look at that, we've got a lovely little path. Make sure you save it. And so now we're ready to add the ball that's going to roll around on the path, and then we're ready to animate it following the path. So I'm going to go back into top view. I'm going to Shift A, add a mesh UV sphere. I'm going to size that down. And then right away, I'm going to just move it up. And I'm going to try and put it on my path. Actually, I'm going to move it down here. And then if I go to front view, I can place it kind of right on top of the track. So I like to hit G and Z, and then, okay, does that look good? Yeah, so you just want it to be right on the path. I'm also gonna shade it smooth while I'm in object mode, shade smooth, and I'm gonna really quickly add a material. Let's make this let's make it green, dark green. And if I choose my materials view, now I can see that it's on there. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to make this ball follow the path, follow the track around. So what you're going to do is you're going to first select the ball, and then you're going to shift click on your path and just make sure you get that original first one. And then you're going to parent them together, so you can either right click or Control P is the shortcut. And then we're going to choose the follow path set parent option. So if I click that, now what you're going to see is you've got this dotted line going over here. Basically that's the origin pointer. That's where the curve of the path started. So if I watch my animation right now, it's gonna kind of follow the path, but the ball goes a little wonky, and that's because it needs to be set at the origin of the path right now. So if I go into top view, I'm gonna just move this. Oops. I'm gonna move just the ball. So click just the ball, and I'm gonna move it so that it's on the where the origin of the track is. And then I'll go into front view and just make sure I moved it down, or make sure I move it down onto the track. Something like that. Sorry, my sticky mouse wheel. Okay, so it looks like it's on the track now. Now if I go and play through my animation, it follows it along much better. There we go. Okay, I'm going to save it. So we've got our ball moving on the track. We've got the track. We've got the ball. Obviously, now we just need to set up our camera. So you're going to go basically the same steps. You're going to click on your camera. And you're going to click on, and you're going to shift click on your other path that we made, that duplicate path. So mine's called NURBS path 0.001. So I held control to click on that. And then we're going to parent those together as well in a second. But what I like to do, first of all, is set up my camera in the spot that I want it to be. So I'm going to hit 0 to go into camera view. And then I'm going to open up my side panel by hitting N. And under view, I'm going to lock camera to view. And then I'm going to put that away. And now I can kind of scroll my camera and get it set up how I want it. So I just basically want the ball to be somewhere in the center of this view, something like that. That looks good. Maybe I'll get a little more top angle so I can see the track a little bit too. something like that. Now if we link these together, so if we parent the camera, so again, click the camera first, control nerve path second. If you control P, parent, follow the path. Now the camera should follow this path. So let's start from the beginning in camera view, and the camera is following the track and following the ball as it does that. So the last thing we're going to do is just set up the time so that it goes a little bit slower, because right now it's really fast. So what you're going to do is you're going to go onto select your first path, the one that the ball is tracking to. And then in this little object panel, our object data properties tab, you're going to scroll down. Right under where we change the bevel is the path animation. So if you open that up, you can see that it's set to 100 frames, which was pretty quick. So I'm going to change that and we'll just say 200 frames. Now that we've changed that, you'll notice that the camera moves way faster, and that's because we didn't change the path time for the camera yet. So now you have to go into the other one that we have, other path, the duplicate path that we have the camera set up for. And now you might have to click away from it. I had to do that, and then if you just basically click away from the tab, go back to the green tab, and then scroll down, you'll see it's still at 100, so I'm changing that to match, change it to 200. Now with both of them set to 200, they should be synced up, but they're just a little bit slower, so we can actually see everything. And there you go. Remember, if you are if you're going to render this, there's 3 basic things you have to do. Well, 4 kind of things right now. We got to set up the lighting. So, my lighting's actually pretty good. I'm happy with that. You need to go into the output properties tab, the one that looks like a printer. And then there's 3 things in here you're going to change. I'm going to change the end frame time to 200 because that's when my animation's done. And then I'm going to change my file. I'm going to make sure I save it in my correct folder, and I'm going to call this follow the path video. Accept. And then change the file format from PNG to AVI JPEG. And then now when you go and render, make sure you render it as an animation. And then it'll take a few minutes, as always, but it'll render frame by frame and you'll get your animation at the end. And that's it. Now you've learned how to set a ball following a path and setting the camera to follow that path as well.